November 4th to order. We have a quorum and the agenda was properly posted?
Yes.
Okay. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item 4, is public appearances, public's opportunity to speak about any subject that's not a specific agenda item. I don't believe we have anybody
Nope.
tonight. Okay. And moving on down here, discuss and consider the minutes of the regular village board meeting of November 8th, sorry. Any comments, questions, corrections? Nick?
I think we need a motion to take the November 6th minutes off the table, since those were tabled.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll second. Okay. Motion and a second to take the November 6th, 2017 village board minutes off the table. Any discussion? If not,
I have something
sure.
here. Just two words that I would suggest that we remove. Looking at the sentence right before the items that are pointed out below, where it says there was a robust discussion and debate. I would like to remove robust and just have it read and debate, because I don't think we had a debate. I think we had a discussion. And my definition of robust might be a little different than others folks, but I don't think it was robust. So I would read, there was a discussion related to the final plat in the following areas.
Okay.
And that would, I would make a motion. Was there a motion? Was there?
Yeah. I
Just
think
to take it off the table.
you made a motion to take it off the table, but then
But now you make a motion.
to add that as a correction.
Yeah, so I would make a motion that we approve the minutes of November 6th, 2015 with the change to the sentence I just stated, where it would read, there was discussion related to the final plat in the following areas.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to add that correction. Any other discussion or correction? Okay, I guess I'll make a motion then to approve the November 6th village board meeting minutes with that correction. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the board minutes with that correction. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
I move to approve the November 20th village board minutes.
Okay,
Could I make a suggestion? That is, if you go to page, I think it's the 4th page, and it's right after paragraph 4. There's a series of motions, and then it says the board that ranked 4 candidates, and actually the candidates ended up tied, but that was irrelevant in the sense that then the board subsequently made a motion and a second to nominate Jeff for the board position, which is according to the statutes.
all right. I'll make a motion to add that correction. Is there any other, is there a second for that?
You have a motion then?
Sure.
Second then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second from John. Any other corrections, questions?
Well, I think the minutes, as the way the minutes read is correct. I guess I don't see the change that would need to be made. The board then ranked the 4 candidates, which dropped it to 3 candidates. Then we listed them. The board then ranked the 3 candidates,
In the order of,
but there's no stating as to any sort of number.
that's fine. I mean, I just wanted to point out that they all ended up with the same votes in that, but that's fine if the board wants to keep it like that. I have no issue with it.
So you're just,
Here's my concern with it, is we're adding something to the minutes that was not part of the meeting at the time. And so I think I feel uncomfortable
Sure.
doing that.
No, that's fine. After having spent a week in Robert's rules, including that, I'll look at minutes, I'll be talking about that a little bit later, but that would be fine.
Okay. Any other questions or corrections to those minutes?
So do you want to, whoever made the motion then wants to
Why don't you, Sue?
withdraw it?
Yeah, I'll withdraw it then.
And withdraw a second.
Okay. Any other comments,
So
questions?
then I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as
Present.
presented.
Okay, motion and a second to approve minutes as presented for November 20th. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, and the November 6th, 2017 minute revisions, is that
That's all.
the link? Yeah, the link isn't working on, I was trying to
Oh.
get at it, but okay. So we're okay with that? Okay. All right, item 6, unfinished business. Discuss and consider current rental space in municipal services building. Everybody should have had some lease space documentation in their packet, but all that matters, we're going to talk about the current situation.
Yeah, the current tenant, Clark Corp., is moving out to a larger space in the city of Madison. They are still interested potentially in looking at the Commerce Park, but they need more time. But that leaves us with 5,000 square feet of available space. Does the board want to continue to lease that? We can, list that or a portion of it, and then we'd have to determine what the terms would be,
Yeah.
or if you didn't want to do that at all. So it's kind of all on the table.
I was just curious, like, I remember Sean was here and saying they could really use that space for some of the rec stuff too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a minimal, paintings and things and stuff, so I don't know what.
He's working on getting some quotes on the flooring and things like that, some rough estimates for some electrical upgrades and the flooring to do the entire 5,000 square feet, which I don't think neither himself nor Mick were proposing necessarily to do that much, but I believe the estimates there would be somewhere around the $10,000 range.
Okay.
So it'd likely be smaller than that, but I haven't seen any quotes, and Sean's on leave at the moment,
Okay.
so waiting to get some more information on that.
Okay, any thoughts? Nick?
I had a couple questions. One, when does the current tenant plan to vacate the premises?
They said they wouldn't need any extensions, so December 31st, they should be out.
Does that include the other space they're renting in the other building?
Yes, we did sign a separate agreement that gives us the ability to, it's a month by month, so I suppose we could give them notice on that for, we can give them a 30-month notice on, they lease, for board members that don't know, they lease about 500 square feet of storage space at the Bonnie Road property, so.
And JJ, you probably are going to be needing that space as winter comes on, or could use it, I should say.
Definitely use it.
Yeah, I figured.
That's some other questions.
Yeah.
One issue I see here will be the tenant improvements. I mean, we're looking at a somewhat short-term lease, and I guess what I'm struggling with is, I mean, if someone's willing to take the space as is, that's one thing, but if not, and that's typically not the case.
Right.
Then you've got tenant improvements, and we have to figure out how we would pay for that. And then you're basically looking at trying to build that into the lease rate. And I guess the other thing that troubles me about it too is, I know now that we do not have enough room for the current rec programs that we have. Let me rephrase that. We currently have enough room, but I think it's maxed out. And I invite everyone to show up at the 5:30 and 5:45 classes in the morning. Check them out. I hear the ones in the afternoon even have more people there. So I think that if we had more space, we would have more people that would participate in the programs. I'm just not really real comfortable with the village getting involved in leasing property that really competes with private sector property in the sense that we're not needing to collect for the real estate taxes versus all the other private property in the village has to do that. So it's not really a apples to apples type of a comparison when you're looking at lease rates, at least theoretically, I guess it is, and we can always increase the rates to include that. So those are my concerns. I really would like to see the space, I think, used for something that would really benefit the citizens here in Cottage Grove, which I know that, Jeff, I think you brought up some issues about doing some things with teens and different issues along that, in that respect, and perhaps the space would work well for things like that also. What I like about the space is that you have a fairly high ceiling in there, so it really is a good space to use for a workout area. You don't feel like you're not working in an area where you have an 8-foot ceiling or something like that.
Not claustrophobic?
Yeah, it's not claustrophobic, you get enough airflow, those sorts of things. So I would be supportive of us really taking a hard look at using this space for uses by the village before we would look at going out and leasing it. Now, the other side of that is we could probably generate at least, on 5,000 feet, we probably can generate at least $50,000 worth of revenue, maybe more a year.
We're currently charging $2,700 a month.
Yeah, but we're not picking up these folks, this is a triple net lease. We'd look at going to a gross lease, which a gross lease would include the payment of the real estate taxes. So at least the folks that are in there now are getting a great benefit, I would think, because they're not paying that. And they would be otherwise. They would be paying, they would be paying the actual real estate taxes, which there are none right now. So it's something I think we have to weigh, the dollars we bring in versus the benefit to the public of having additional space.
I guess I have a question. If we use it for more recreational space, how do we pay for that? Because I didn't see anything in the budget we just approved.
Yeah, I think a portion of that, we'd have to justify it with the revenue that those programs would generate, but outside of that, we would have to, the board would have to decide if they want to, what we want to do. We'd have to decide on something that's in the budget to not, to not spend, or it would have to be cash reserves.
I guess we don't have enough information yet to even judge what it's going to cost.
Right, I would say if it's,
That's a little maybe
if the board would like, what Mick's suggestion is, then I would suggest it goes to the Parks and Rec Committee to have them, kind of go through the details and then get us a recommendation.
I mean, I think that
How
would
is
make
the space set up right now? I don't know. Is it all one open space? or
I
is
have
it-
not been in it, so I don't
Yeah.
know
There's
what it's how.
there aren't many improvements to it. It's rather modest. There's, I think, a couple built-out offices in the front, and then it's mostly warehouse in the back. Aaron, is that JJ? I guess maybe JJ knows.
Clark Corpsburg?
Yeah, it's kind of old rundown offices right inside the entryway, bathroom, and then besides their shelving, the heating units, I think it's just wide open, all of that. Probably 3/4 of what you can see from the outside is essentially wide open,
Okay.
or could be.
So there's a separate entry door then to rekey also, or you just would use it from the wall in between?
Yep, I mean, yes. Ultimately, we've talked long-term with the Village Growth, how it could be, a whole separate kind of Parks and Rec section with the existing offices. And, I mean, it's ugly right now, but it's a nice big space that's.
Okay. I mean, it makes sense to me, I guess, if we have a use for it, but we can get some more details on that.
I mean, maybe even the Parks and Rec Committee, maybe they even decide to meet at the Municipal Services Building and then go, a walkthrough once it's
Yeah.
once they're all out of
That's
there.
where we meet normally, so,
Okay,
yeah, we'll do that
Okay.
next meeting.
yeah.
I have another comment.
Yep.
One suggestion I have is that we would ask our real estate brokerage firm to give us some direction on what we perhaps could generate in the market, and give us an idea of what it would cost to do the tenant improvements. My gut on it is it'd be real easy to spend $5 a foot, and they're just freshen it up, but so I mean, when we start looking at it, I mean, it's $25,000 right there, which somehow we'd have to pay to try to get back over the 4 years. So those sorts of things, we need to really, I think, take a look at versus how much it would cost to us to perhaps only put a floor in, because I'm guessing that everything else, the HVAC, everything's probably working. So
I
it's
think-
really probably putting a floor in and,
I think Sean was looking at some lighting improvements.
okay.
And maybe, yeah, and I'm not sure about air conditioning, I know that was one improvement that had to be made to the rec space now. To do anything, I mean, that maybe needed in there, I think.
And Rudabush has looked at it in the past and given some numbers, so they could just update those and give us an idea of what.
Okay.
I think that was for the Bobby Road
And
project.
we've got both sides of the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'd have suggestions from Parks and Rec, what could be.
What kind of
potential-
revenue we could get, I mean, incremental revenue, I guess, would be the main thing. And then,
What's-
is there, and if we could understand whether, I don't know if anybody has a finger on the pulse of this, whether there's more demand for warehouse or office space, would we, I mean, if we split the difference and used half of it for rec, could we use half of it for offices? That, I don't know, but then again, it's improvements again.
Yeah, I think that's some of the feedback we could get from Rudabush. We have heard that the chamber is potentially looking for an office, some office space potentially. That might be a good user, maybe for just, maybe those, that office in the front just gets refurbished, and maybe we could work out something with them.
Yeah.
So that could be a combined situation.
Okay.
All right. We'll talk about it.
So we'll send the details of, any improvements and things like that to Parks and Rec.
Great.
We'll get some feedback from Rudabush as, the marketability recommendations on any potential lease if we went that route.
One other suggestion, I know now that we have the ability to go out and ask the residents what they would really like to see.
On the E-poll thing, or,
Whatever the
I
new.
can't remember the name.
Mm-hmm.
Would this
Yeah.
be something that would be supportive of just asking the
Yeah,
public
just
what
put it
their
on the
thoughts are
website.
on
Mm-hmm.
having additional space for use?
Yeah,
Yeah.
certainly.
Okay. Maybe,
Keep it open-ended, and see if we get something creative.
Mhm.
maybe it makes sense to table this till the first meeting in January.
Well, are you sending this back, or sending this to the Parks and Rec Committee?
Yeah, and then also pending information from staff on their needs, and like you said, Rudabush, and so.
That would be the motion, I
Yeah, I think you're just sending it to the Parks Committee to
Okay.
get it off the agenda. Then when they're ready with a report, it can come back on.
I mean, we can bring the information from Rudabush back here, and then Parks and Rec can do theirs as, when's the next meeting? Sometimes it gets canceled around Christmas, it lands around there, I think.
Yeah. I'll have to look when we set the next meeting.
I thought it was the 20th.
20,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. I'll just make a motion to defer this to the Parks Committee then.
Okay. Lisa, do I have to do anything to get it on the agenda? Should I send some?
I would send it to Sean or
Okay.
Reese.
Reese.
Jack, do you want to add to that motion to direct staff to also inquire about the other part of it, how much it would cost if we were to think about moving forward, building out?
Yeah, that's
Just
fine.
have
I'm fine with
the-
that addition about looking into the cost benefit of leasing versus what the needs are for.
And I think the other piece is to Nick's point about getting it out on the website, just to ask the
And-
question about citizens and.
Put it on
What they're
the
interested in.
website as well. Yep.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right, motion and a second to defer this to Parks and Rec and put this on our website and get some input from staff as to our options. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Item 7, new business, discuss and consider resolution 2017-19, appointing the Village of Cottage Grove election inspectors. I guess for those of you that don't know, these are the folks that come to vote that run the show. So, did you have anything to add to that, Lisa? Are there more or less? Or
There may be a couple more than some fall out and then we add some, but it's required every 2 years to appoint them so
Okay.
that they're prepared for the elections.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that we're going to use all of these people listed on the list for every election.
Right. Okay. Any comments or corrections or concerns with?
So, just to clarification, so by doing this, this allows them to get the proper training, et cetera, that they need to actually step in and do these procedures?
Right,
Okay.
so the
That's
chief
what I thought.
election inspectors, the three on the top, they have to follow state guidelines through so many hours of training, because they are the chiefs. And then the other poll workers, I do the election training for all of them, but there's other things that they can do as far as webinars. But before every election, I hold the training for them and get them up to date on what needs to happen or the changes that are happening with elections.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I move approval of Resolution 2017-19, appointing the Village of Cottage Grove election inspectors.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second to approve Resolution 2017-19, appointing the Village of Cottage Grove election inspectors. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Next, discuss and consider moving the January 1st, 2018 meeting. I'm assuming nobody wants to be here New Year's Day. Yeah. I guess we don't have, I suppose we could do the second Monday. Does that interfere with?
That's the CDA.
Okay.
Oftentimes, the Thursday of that first week works out relatively well. There's Pure Court. Is it Pure Court or the Pure Court Committee?
Steering committee.
No, it's not steering, it's pure court
Okay.
itself, but that's at 4 and they're usually done before 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you'd like to, we could do it that Thursday.
The 4th? January 4th?
Yeah.
January 4th. Does that work for everybody?
Sure.
I'm not sure if it works with my schedule, but
Okay.
I usually have something like Thursday.
All right.
What's the date then?
The 4th?
Thursday, the 4th of January. 6:30.
Guess it should be okay.
Okay. All right, I will move that we change our meeting date for January 1st to Thursday, January 4th at 6:30 here. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to change our January 1st meeting date. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes.
Forrest, was that your second? Jim, okay, thank you.
Next is discuss and consider the 2018 Colonial Club Senior Activity Center Agreement.
The document that I have in your packet, or put in your packet, was a renewal of the previous agreement. Mick was kind enough to send some suggested revisions. One involved insurance, and I was positive there was that paragraph in there, but somehow it isn't, so I will add that. And there was also a couple of additional revisions that I would make, and I will share those with Colonial Club and Briar Patch, just to make sure they're okay with them, and then we could bring this back at the next meeting. So I guess tonight I'd ask if we could please table these two items, this item and then the next item.
Right.
Okay.
So, one just minor, if you're correcting this one, this just to make it consistent, either way, so
Oh, yeah, okay.
the addresses.
Also changing the 2016 or 2017 dates, I thought would be helpful.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Just in case.
You look at these things and you just go, well, I know there's nothing in there, but thanks for the help.
All right.
I would make a motion that we postpone this to our next meeting, so we don't need to take it off the table, because we want to get this in place before the beginning of the year.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and second to postpone the Colonial Club Senior Activity Center Agreement until our next meeting. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Also discuss and consider the 2018 Youth Services of Southern Wisconsin Incorporated Agreement.
That would be the same.
The same
request.
Okay, so separate motion to table this one till next meeting?
Well, I make a motion to postpone this to our next meeting
Okay,
for discussion and decision.
all right, I'll second that. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Moving right along.
Oh, just like, Lisa, is Bob Powers still the contact, or is it, is there a different one for? Yeah, it is still, okay.
Okay. Item E, discuss and consider new operator's license application for licensing year July 2017 to June 2018. And I apologize if I mispronounced Kelly Jones Coles. Any issues with this applicant, chief?
No, there isn't.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay. Motion and second to approve the operator's license for Kelly Jones Coles. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. All right. There we go. Reports from village boards, commissions, and committees. First one is Pure Court Steering Committee. You'll see the agenda there. I was not at that meeting, and I don't know if anybody's here that was at that meeting. Okay. Joint Fire Department Committee, Troy or John?
Oh, that'd be me and Forrest.
Or
So
Forrest,
we met on November 27th, Monday. Covered some recommendations for the agreement for fire protection services. And those are being worked out through both Lee and Susan, the attorney for the town, and our attorney. So those are, they're going to continue to move forward between them to get a final draft to the committee, as well as the Fire Association to consider. The agreement is 20 years old, so it does need to be revised. Just some statutes and some other things need to be updated. We discussed, considered some computer network infrastructure. Apparently the Wi-Fi is abysmal in the emergency building. So we approved up to $2,000 because we do have money in the budget because of Mother Nature being very kind to the building and heating and cooling. So the committee approved that, as well as stripping and waxing the main floors, which was a few $100. Approved that as well, since it will come under budget. And that was it.
I'd just like to add, I'm going to be working with Chris for that final computer network infrastructure upgrade approval. I had some concerns. We only received one estimate, and I felt that it was quite high considering 2-minute Google search found several $100s in savings on the parts and everything. So I also did re-examine it, and I do not believe that it's actually going to improve the Wi-Fi at all. None of the devices that were ordered are actually related to Wi-Fi. It would improve perhaps the quality or consistency of the network, but there was no expansion, there was no improvements that I could see. So we're trying to figure that out now. And then we did discuss officer compensation for 2018. Rather than paying the officers directly, we're going to give the money to the association each month, who's going to distribute it to the officers. And I believe that was. So, yeah, that was that.
All right, sounds good. Law Enforcement Committee, we met last Tuesday, which I guess was the 28th. Talked a little bit about some budget numbers, and I guess I'll let Chief give his report. I guess the main highlight for me is we probably be getting some body cameras, which are kind of nice.
Yes, we're either going to get Taser Axon body cameras or Panasonic. We currently have Panasonic in-car cameras, so that may be the most seamless transition, but they don't offer a payment plan like Taser does, so we have some decisions to make. We're currently trying out Panasonic cameras, and they used to have problems with battery life. Now you can make it through a shift without recharging, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Body cameras are always on. They record for 30 seconds before any event if you turn them on, so they're always using battery life. They're not actually recording until you turn it on,
Okay.
but they will go back 30 seconds and show you what was on camera before that. So that's why they use batteries all the time. So we're trying to figure out which one to go with, and we do have the money in supplies budget item to pay for the first year of payments, and then should have money in succeeding years to pay for the remainder. And then Officer Anderson is going to be the new detective in January. And we have December 7th, Police Commission to determine who's going to be the third shift sergeant and reach the tentative agreement on union negotiations. And the on-site for accreditation is in March of 2018. And our budget numbers for the year are right on where we should be.
Just to add on with the tentative agreement, we're working with Attorney Westcott, our labor attorney, who assisted Dan, Jack, and myself in the negotiations, and he'll be coming to an upcoming board meeting, maybe the next one, to discuss with you all the agreements and potential approval. So
What was the percentage that was agreed on?
I don't think we want to discuss
Okay.
that until,
All right.
yeah. So
There's a 3-year contract, I think we're looking at, we can say that much at least.
I can say it's doable within the budget.
Great.
As approved.
All right. Thank you. Plan Commission, we met last Wednesday, probably the shortest Plan Commission meeting on record, but it was a single item, basically a variance, but I'll let Aaron talk a little bit about the signage.
Yeah, you may recall, I think it was back in April when we approved Wisconsin Bacon Trust's site plan. Part of that approval allowed them to put in a monument sign. They ran into an issue as they started looking at it more closely, that the ground level where the sign is actually a couple feet lower than the adjacent sidewalk, and they were concerned that it would be difficult to see the electronic message board that was part of it that they use for community announcements and things like that. So they requested to make up that difference and a little bit higher to make sure the board was visible. And the Land Commission was
I think we're only talking like 18 inches or 2 feet or something, it's not terrible, but just to make it look good. Okay,
So was the agenda for that meeting sent out?
it was not the normal Plan Commission day.
No, I realize that, but I didn't
I didn't
remember
get one
receiving
either.
it.
I didn't get an agenda on that either.
It was sent out to I may have used the complete board, but it was sent out on Monday instead of the regular Friday posting, so it wasn't in with the weekly posting.
No, I knew that, because I looked.
But I didn't get it at all. I mean, did you not send it to all of us?
It may not, it may have just been sent to the Plan Commission committee.
Okay.
Can we all get something like that?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Reports from village officers, Troy?
No report.
Mick?
No report.
All right, Forrest?
Could I move my report to the end?
Sure. James?
No report?
Okay. Nothing yet, huh? No. Okay. John?
No report.
Okay, I have nothing, but I'm going to defer to Lisa. She had a report about a couple of things here. Not bad.
Just wanted to thank the crossing guards. They participated in the parade on Friday for Christmas in the Grove, and they did it on their own time, and they handed out glow sticks to everybody, which they all pitched in. So I just wanted to say thank you to the crossing guards.
They look good too in the parade, I saw.
Yeah.
We just got to get them moving faster next year.
That was, one of them said that next year they're going to ride on the bus.
Yes, because they held up the middle of the parade for at least 10 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a bit of a gap.
It was.
All right, Attorney Lee Boucher?
No report.
Okay, Matt?
Mick mentioned the surveying application. We kicked that off, launched that last week with a few public works related questions. Just to get some feedback on snow plowing operations, and then some feedback on potential service delivery items in the future that could be talked about during budget time, like leaf collection and brush drop-off site and things like that. So those are out there, and residents can sign up for that. And basically, the site affirms that if they're a registered voter and then they get one vote, meaning like through SurveyMonkey or something like that, you could, well, first of all, we could get votes from anywhere, so we wouldn't know if they came from actually village residents, but also you could vote on every device, where this is, every person gets one vote per registered voter. So you couldn't vote on your phone and then also a tablet and then your computer.
Oh, sure.
So like into one house, depending on how many devices they have and how many people live there, could. So anyway, it should help us get good feedback, and then we can include the results in memos to the board when those particular items come up at meetings.
All right. Aaron?
No report.
Chief? All right. JJ? Yep. Okay. All right, communications?
Forrest.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
No report.
Okay. All right.
Drama.
Just used to going around here in a circle. All right.
I was thinking of something, but.
Okay.
We'll let it go.
All right. Communications and miscellaneous business. First item is consider approval of the vouchers. Any questions, comments?
Actually, Crystal Cleaners on page 2, PD office cleaning from December of 2016.
Yep, they sent an invoice over, and I don't know if it got missed because, anyway, I brought it over here, wanted to confirm with Cynthia that it was in fact missed. They were doing their yearbooks. And I'm guessing it came from, I believe they initially were sending them to Jamie for both sides, PD and me, and then at some point they wanted to switch to email, and they sent it both to me. I'm thinking it was probably right around that time. That they
And
missed
Jamie retired in the meanwhile, so that's probably how it got missed.
it. So yeah, Cynthia confirmed that we didn't pay it.
Okay, so as long as we double checked, because I thought maybe it was just a typo, it was supposed to be 2017 on there.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right. Anything else?
I move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the vouchers. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Correspondence, I don't believe we have anything official. I'll check my folder again. Future agenda items, you'll see there's a note here that the impact fee report will be on a future agenda when information is received. I think that was something you'd asked about, Troy?
But something MSA is working on
MSA.
updating a table,
Okay.
and the survey results are taking a while to come in.
Okay.
So
All right. Anybody have anything else for future?
The Colonial Club and Briar
Colonial
Patch
Club.
agreements.
And Briar Patch, okay. That's what I was thinking, not youth services, Briar Patch is a contract, I guess, for the,
Yeah, they changed the name last year or the year before. Briar
Okay.
Patch.
And then are we going to have the lease discussion too?
yeah, we can put that on there.
If we have all the information at that
Sure.
point.
Anybody have anything else? Okay. Awesome. Item 11, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn, non-debatable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.